An internationally acclaimed actor.
Celebrities should do their role in spreading the awareness of causes that they believe in.
He has also lent support to Sight Saver India's vaccine campaign.
This campaign aims to address that, to say, reach out and help those with disabilities around you.
NewsX India A-list proudly recognizes Kabir Bedi for excellence in acting and community service.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview as part of our NewsX A-list series. We're in conversation today with an actor who needs no introduction. He's an internationally acclaimed actor who's, of course, just recently turned author as well. But more importantly, he's also the honorary brand ambassador for Sight Savers India. Kabir Bedi, welcome to NewsX. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Uday. Delighted to be here. I'm delighted to be talking about Sight Savers too.
Yes, let me begin with their latest campaign, which is, of course, on vaccine equity. Now, it's, of course, not just important in India, but it's important world over to ensure vaccination for as many people as possible against COVID-19. What made you, come on board this campaign, sir, for vaccine equity in India?
Well, I've been the honorary brand ambassador for Sight Savers for a number of years, and they've got some great programs for eye health, for people with disabilities, etc. Now that we're in this sort of pandemic situation where all of us are dealing with it, and all of us are in it together, and we can only get out of it if, at the end of it, all of us get vaccinated together. So when they came up with this campaign for vaccine equity, which meant make sure the disabled get vaccinated as well, I thought it was a very, very important step to take. Because, there are almost 26 million people, 2.6 crore people with disabilities in India. And if they don't get vaccinated, then we are defeating the purpose of mass vaccination. And a lot of these people have need to be helped. And so this campaign aims to address that, to say, reach out and help those with disabilities around you get vaccinated. That's why I'm fully behind the campaign, and I salute Sight Savers India for launching the campaign. And we've got to get the message out to everybody. Them, yes. Me, you, everybody.
Yes. You've been associated with them for a while, as you've said. What made you come on board their cause? And also, is this something, Mr. Bedi, you've tried to do through your career, to be part of, campaigns which are socially relevant? Because we do know how celebrities, and particularly, members of the film industry like yourself, manage to, have a much greater impact sometimes than just politicians or NGOs because of the sheer reach of cinema in our country and the world.
People are fascinated with celebrities, and I think celebrities should do their role in spreading the awareness of causes that they believe in. Everyone has causes dear to their heart. In my case, I'm basically involved with two major charities because not just charities, the movements almost. Because I don't just give my name to a charity and say, okay, put me as your brand ambassador. I take my role very seriously. I'm very hands-on, I get involved. One charity I'm involved with is Care and Share Italia that raises money in India for slum children in India. They raise money in Italy, educate slum children in India from kindergarten to university. So that's one. Sight Savers was very important to me because I saw the incredible work they were doing.
Yes.
And I've involved myself in that. I've been to their camps in Madhya Pradesh, in India. We brought blind children from various parts of India to Mumbai, to show them the sea, to make them experience what a life in a big city is like. I mean, these people who are disabled have wonderful, talented individuals that have the same wants and aspirations as all of us.
Yes.
And to include them in society is very important.
Yes.
And their Sight Savers has a school inclusion program, so the blind kids with a few facilities can join regular classrooms. They have social inclusion programs. They've tried to make life easier for people with disabilities and the visually impaired, etc.
Okay.
The
Fantastic.
blind, they've restored almost 5 million people's eyesight for free. And
Yes.
that's saying a lot.
Yeah, no, it is indeed. And just speaking, of course, now about the last year and a half, it's been, of course, unprecedented. Vaccination hopefully will make it a far more, safer world for all of us. So it's great that you've, lent your support for this campaign, and it's important to do it in an equitable way. We're just speaking about the last year and a half for you, sir. Now, you're, of course, used to traveling around so much for your film shoots and other commitments. How has the last year and a half been like for you? What have been your lockdown lessons through it all?
You know, everyone's lives have been totally disrupted by this pandemic. People have lost loved ones, people have lost jobs, people have lost office spaces, they've lost their way of life has been lost almost. Nobody's used to going around everywhere in masks and distancing, etc. So it's been a great social disruptor. And I think all of us have had to cope with this because it's a sense of mourning for a life that once was, a time that once was. January 2020 seems like the good old days, So how do we cope with this? The thing is, we all have to adapt. I adapted personally by saying, okay, what are the things I've always wanted to do that I've never been able to focus on in the way that I wanted? And I figured that I should write my book in this time.
Yes.
I had the time to think about it. I had the time to write it. And that was my way of coping with it. The routine of writing every day for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day was my way of coping with it.
Yes.
Everyone has to find coping mechanisms. And as Darwin said, the species that survive are not necessarily the strongest or even the most intelligent. It is the species that adapts. So we all have to adapt to a whole new thing. And it is even harder for people with disabilities to adapt because as it is, they're adapting to a normal world without all the facilities that a normal person has. And therefore, they are adapting is even harder for them. That's why this idea of social inclusion, bring people along, make sure people around you are vaccinated, make sure that the disabled don't get left behind. Because in this world where we have to adapt to, everyone has to adapt.
Yes.
All of us have to do it. We're all in this together.
True.
And that's the kind of message that I was happy to spread and then promote.
Yes.
Because it's a changed world.
Yeah.
And we all have to step up and do the best we can and be kind and compassionate. There's no better time in the world to be kind and compassionate to others than today.
True. Well, as I was introducing you today, there's of course now an added a couple of words in your introduction, which is an author, because you have of course turned author. Your labor of love during the lockdown period, as you were just telling us, has come out.
Yes.
I see the cover of the book right behind you over there.
Right.
Yeah, I think
This is the book.
It's behind you as well. On the wall, I can see it. Yes.
Yes.
So tell us, about what the response has really been. Is it, has that made it worth it? Writing the book, taking the time out. What's been the response, and perhaps what do you believe has been the most awarding and rewarding thing for you to actually write this and pen your thoughts and your life in this book?
Well, I must say that the reactions to my book have been extraordinarily good. The one word that keeps coming up all the time is how honest was it? How could you afford to be so honest? How could you tell things so frankly? It was the only way I knew how, because if I'm telling a story at this point in my life, and I'm telling it with the understanding of how I see things today, and I look back on my younger selves, it's important that I tell it as honestly as I could. This is a story not just of the usual autobiography, a story of triumphs, and I did this and I did that, and I won this award, and I did this film, and I met so and so. It's about being human. It's being human in a changing world across continents, dealing with changing environments of Bollywood, Hollywood, Europe, the euphoria of triumph, the tragedy of heartbreak, longing, aspirations, setbacks, All these things I put out there, and I've been absolutely blown away by the reviews that I received. I mean, a person like Veer Sanghvi, who I respect greatly, said it's the best memoir by an Indian celebrity that I have read.
Wow.
And that's high praise, you know. And if I look at, well, I'd save you a lot of trouble. If you just go onto my Amazon website and see a selection of the reviews, you'll realize that I'm not exaggerating. It's better than what I could ever have expected. I knew I was writing a good book because I've lived an extraordinary life and I have a great story to tell.
No doubt.
But the kind of response I've got has been absolutely, I hate to use the word humbling because it's such a wrong word, but deeply gratifying.
Okay.
People say I'm humbled by this. They're not humbled. They're very proud of having done it. I'm very proud of having done it, but I'm also very gratified that it got this response.
No doubt. And anyone who hasn't read it must go and buy their copy and read the book and read about your life and get inspired, no doubt, by reading it as well.
There's a lot of lessons for everyone in that book. It's not a book of lessons, but the lessons are implied, they're implicit, because it takes you through the dangers of success and failure.
No doubt. Yeah. Final question to you, very quickly before we wrap up. Now that you've written the book and recounted and relived your experiences, what is the advice you would give to your young Kabir Bedi self? If Kabir Bedi of today were to meet Kabir Bedi of say 21 or 25, what is the advice you'd give him?
I would say be very careful about the relationships that you get into. You may think they'll last for a short time, but they can last for a long, long time. And they will affect you very deeply. Be very careful with the money that you make, because money can also be a very slippery commodity if you're not careful with it. Be very careful with whom you trust. Trust has to be earned, it shouldn't be given. But I would congratulate that young Kabir on the spirit of adventure that he had, that took him from being a reporter in All India Radio and getting an interview with the Beatles, that took him to Bollywood with 700 rupees in his pocket, that took him to eventually to Hollywood with extraordinary journeys along the way. So I congratulate that Kabir on having a spirit of adventure, of having the courage to leave a safe job in advertising, to take the uncharted territory of the film industry, which turned into many film industries.
Well, congratulations on that, on a life well lived, and also more power to you, sir, for coming on board and supporting the idea of vaccine equity with Sight Savers India. Thank you very much, Kabir Bedi, for joining.
Thank you so much, Chitra. Thank you for your words, and thank you for the attention you've given me and the appreciation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.